What's going on, guys? Briar Rabbit here. Got a bit of a ramble session. I got a couple of things that came up in Planet Destiny's podcast last night that I kind of want to elaborate on. I want to talk about Golgoroth a little bit. I find this to be a very interesting point, and it's the point at which a lot of fire teams are finding a lot of trouble. I also want to talk about raid weapons, because raid weapons, man, I gotta be honest with you, I'm not impressed, right? I really like this scout rifle you see I'm using. I think it's called the Doom of Kelkis, whatever his name is. And I really like the heavy machine gun as well, but other than that, I've been pretty unimpressed with everything. The pulse rifle's okay, it feels like it does a lot of damage, but that recoil really makes it kind of a pain in the neck to use. You get used to it, and you can still hit for crits a lot of the time, but definitely the scout rifle is the way to go. Of all of the raid weapons that I've gotten so far, and I haven't gotten the hand cannon, I haven't gotten the auto rifle, but I've heard both of those are garbage. I haven't gotten the sniper rifle yet. Also, people don't seem to be too impressed with that, and I haven't gotten the rocket launcher. But of the ones I have gotten, which is the scout, the pulse, the fusion, the shotgun, and the heavy machine gun, definitely the scout is my favorite so far, and I don't see that changing because the people I know who have gotten the hand cannon and the auto rifle are not at all impressed with it. And I'm wondering, is this the first time we're getting raid gear that's not really all that hot? You know, it's definitely good for the raid. There's a certain amount of DPS that they allow you to do with that cocoon perk, right? Is they reload automatically if you stow them away for about 5 seconds. So you'll see while I'm using my secondary here, my primary is actually going to be reloaded when I pull it out. And that's a pretty nice feature, especially if you've got all three of those weapons doing that. Because basically whatever weapon you pull out next is going to have a full magazine, and you can just start firing right away, as opposed to most guns where, you know, you put it away and it's half full, you pull it back out and it fires for a half a second and then you're screwed. So Cocoon is a nice perk. However, you know, we're not getting the elemental damage we've seen in the past, which, you know, has been highly prized. And we're not seeing like those really cool perks like kind of converging to make raid weapons super good. Like, we're not getting a Vision of Confluence. I don't see any like kind of equal to a Vision of Confluence or a Fate Bringer, or, you know, any of those weapons really. So it's kind of surprising. You know, not all of the old raid weapons were super good either, but, you know, for the most part they were pretty damn good. Now we are getting a second set of weapons for the heroic mode of the raid, which we're not sure when that's coming out yet. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I've definitely got some time to put into this raid, getting used to the strategies, getting used to the timing, getting used to everything. But I've got some time to put into this raid before I jump into the heroic. But I am looking forward to the heroic, and I'm looking forward to seeing not only the new mechanics that are going to be in there. We've definitely speculated a bunch on that in this week's Planet Destiny podcast. But I'm also looking forward to the loot, the weapons, the armor. Like, is it going to be a tier above the stuff we're getting now? Because right now, I feel like there's a few reasons to use this gear. There's some decent reasons. You know, the armor's got a couple of perks that help you out, especially when you are kind of in that black and white, you know, shifted mode. And the weapons have Cocoon, which is nice. They do a little extra damage to the Fallen, which is nice. Not the Fallen, the Taken, which is nice. But really, it feels like there's better weapons out there, especially you know, if you get something that has just perfect perks, perfect rolls on it, it's hard to pull out one of these raid weapons, even though the raid weapons have really high light numbers. I think what's going to end up happening is that as I get duplicates of these raid weapons, I'm definitely going to start infusing some of my more favorite weapons that I've just gotten in legendary engrams or I've bought from vendors. And my guess is those are really going to start replacing the raid weapons while I'm raiding. Now, it's hard to replace the Cocoon perk. That's a good perk. And especially when you're in like massive DPS mode against something like Oryx, then it's hard to replace that perk. But, you know, none of these weapons that I've used, with the exclusion of possibly the scout rifle, have I been truly in love with. I do like the heavy machine gun. I think it's pretty good. It's kind of one of those slower rate of fire, heavy damage types. And having Cocoon on a heavy machine gun comes in handy because those things take forever to reload. But besides those two weapons, I'm not super excited about these. Now, with the heroic, maybe we'll get elemental, maybe we'll get better perks, maybe we'll get better stats. We're definitely getting a different look to them, I believe. From what I've heard, it's a slightly darker look, which I do like the look of these weapons. I was initially afraid they were just going to look like Dark Below weapons, which, we've had a year of that almost. And I didn't really want to see that for another year. But they do look cool. It's a more grotesque look, but it looks very cool. It's the bone and the flesh stretched across the bone. I think it looks real good. So, there's some disappointment for me with the raid gear we're getting now. It is helping us get to, 300, 305, hopefully 310 light, preparing us for the heroic mode. But my guess is that the heroic mode is really where the good stuff's going to come out of. Kind of like with Trials of Osiris, where we had like the regular Watcher gear, but it was really that elite gear that you got out of actually competing and winning in the Trials of Osiris. That's the stuff that people really prize. You could get a summoner, or you could get a summoner that did, arc damage, which was much better, right? I think that may be what Bungie's looking at here, is that, yeah, if you do the normal mode, you can get the weapon, but if you do the hard mode, the heroic mode, then you'll get, like, the good weapon, right? Like the really pristine one, the prestigious one. Hopefully that's what they're going for here. The heroic mode of this raid could be pretty challenging, though. I foresee that, people are having difficulty. This fight in particular, this is kind of the reason I picked this fight out for this video, is because people are having trouble with this one, and I've even had trouble with it, even though I know exactly what to do at this point. Right here, you see I'm trying to shoot these goddamn Golgoroth orbs that keep coming after me, and they are a real pain in the neck. I know they're coming, but they just fly around so fast, and they're so unpredictable. I did find I have better luck if I get closer to Golgoroth, as opposed to what I did initially when I first started this fight, when I became like the guy that gets the gaze. I was staying as far back as possible, but what that was doing was giving those orbs more time to spread out. By getting closer, you can see that the orbs are closer together. It's a little easier to shoot them. So that's one little tip that I found with this Golgoroth fight. But this Golgoroth fight is kind of a gear check, right? It's kind of a level check. If your fire team is, just struggling to get by, you might hit that enrage timer in this one and not be able to get it done. The group you're looking at here was just an LFG group, right? Today I was kind of bored. I decided I wanted to raid. Nobody on my friends list was really either available or in the mood, so I just picked up an LFG group and said, hey, let's see how we did. Yesterday we were able to do it on stream. It took about 3 hours. This raid group, we did about 4 hours, and we completed the Golgoroth fight. So a little less lucky this time. But really the problem we were having is that we just didn't have the gear, right? Is we just weren't doing damage. Both to bosses with the War Priest. We hit the enrage timer, I think, twice on the War Priest, and then I think we hit it 3 times on Golgoroth and wiped. And that's a hard one to swallow, right? When you hit that enrage timer, just because you're not doing enough damage, that hurts. That hurts bad because you went through that fight. You completed your steps successfully, but your gear just wasn't good enough to get it done. That can really be a tough one to swallow, but I do like the Golgoroth fight. I like the way everybody kind of has a job. You've got the DPS team in the middle, you got the 2 guys on the sides getting the Golgoroth's gaze and killing the orbs, and hopefully, if they have time, also shooting orbs up top for the DPS team to stand in. But as it stands, this guy's got a ton of health, and fire teams are just having difficulty getting him down in time. Fire teams that I've been involved in. It's funny because yesterday we had a fire team that didn't really have a whole lot of trouble with Golgoroth. Today it was a big deal. We just barely got him down in this gameplay before that enrage timer went down. Ultimately, though, I think it's a fun fight. As fire teams level up, it's going to get easier. Instead of jumping in as a 290 light level character or a team of 6 290 light level characters, you're going to see 295, 300. The whole fight will get easier. So, sorry, this was a bit of a rambling video, but I had some topics I wanted to talk about a little bit today. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time.